Got the doctor and Lawrence Foster here, ready for our Friday night episode. We're here tonight. We're going to talk about predominantly football. I'm going to go through the what we believe are going to be the division playoff Super Bowl winners. So yeah, we're excited to talk about that, get that going. Lawrence, looking great
as always.
as
But
always.
yes, last night was kind of a letdown because I was getting ready for just real football, and all of a sudden Spectrum was like, "Yeah, we're not going to have ESPN anymore." I'm like, "Cool." I guess I didn't really miss out much of a game,
Yeah,
fortunately.
my Gators got not taken to the woodshed, but they definitely didn't play well. A lot of bad coaching, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like the best. But so tomorrow's like the real like actual like start of football, and then the best football starts in less than a week. So we're
Oh, I
pumped and
know.
ready for that, and
Seriously.
ready to prognosticate the crap out of this season right now.
I'm ready for the Chiefs to lose week one. That's what I'm ready for.
That'd be pretty nice.
I don't know, man. That's my, I guess if that's an upset of the week, that's it right there. I got the lines
Stone Cold Lock of the
of the week. That is was the best.
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't stop that. But
Yeah, for real.
yeah, not having Chris Jones would be pretty big for that.
I know. And I really do wonder, right? Like, is it going to be one of those things where they just can't do it? And, because he's going to want, probably top three money. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because he's still a good player. He's still going to have, I think, a couple more really great years left in him. So they could likely get, something big in terms of a trade for him.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, shoot, I'd love to have
Yeah, I'd trade Ed for him straight up.
him. Worth it.
But like the Chiefs have like Mahomes is underpaid. An event like he'll have to restructure. Like they have Creed Humphrey coming up. The like the really good offensive lineman.
Hmm.
Like they're going to have to start paying some of the younger guys. And like they kind of showed Tyreek. Like, are they going to be willing to drop that amount on an aging guy?
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it too, Kelsey's also underpaid, but I think
Mm-hmm.
it just comes down to they are comfortable winning. And as long as they're
Yeah, that's kind of
winning,
what he said today.
yeah.
Like, I don't know if you saw what Kelsey said to Chris Jones on his podcast, saying, "Hey, like, we need you here, man." Like, and that's really rare. Like, usually teammates won't comment on somebody else when it's like a money issue. They'll kind of be like, "Go get your own." But he's kind of like begging him, almost like, "Hey, we need you. Come back."
Well, it's because he knows that both he and Mahomes take less money than they could be
Yeah.
getting for the team because they like winning Super Bowls.
Yep. That's a trade off.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of Super Bowls, we're gonna start with our picks here. We're gonna start on the AFC. We're gonna go through our division winners. We're not gonna like go through and go 1 through 4 in every division. We don't want to do that. But just like our division winners, don't pick our wild cards, so all the playoff teams, and then the championship teams, and then the Super Bowl winner.
You know what? Let's do last and first, right? Because a lot of these divisions are
Okay.
good.
Oh, yeah, we can do last and first,
All
and then
right.
our playoff teams.
Sick 'em.
So we're gonna start with the AFC West. That way we say the Bills division for last.
Okay.
Um, so let's start with the West. Um, is it as easy as Kansas City for sure, or do you see anybody else rising up to truly challenge them for the division crown?
I mean, I'll just give you my thoughts. I mean, I think that um, at the Raiders are going to be last. And I don't like Josh McDaniels as a coach. I think Jimmy G was okay. They, lost Waller. Jacobs, okay, you could say he's fresh and healthy or whatever, but he's still, hasn't been around much. They don't really, I mean, obviously they have Devontae Adams and they still have Hunter Renfro, right?
Yep, Hunter Renfro's there. They signed Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, but like Jimmy G is not Derek Carr. He is a
No.
step down, in my opinion. So I think the Raiders finished last just because that division is bad. The Broncos, I think, will be, well, never mind. We won't get into all that. And then Kansas City, yeah. I mean, one could argue for the Chargers, but the Chargers have charged it for a very long time. And so, yeah, I think Raiders last, Chiefs first.
No, I don't disagree there. And people like always like to pick the Chargers, but like you said, like what's the lasting image from them the last 2 years? Boneheaded stuff against the Raiders that cost them the playoffs 2 years ago in the
Hmm.
last game of the year. Then last year blowing a huge lead against the Jaguars in the playoffs.
I mean, it even started the game before with playing Keenan Allen, or yeah, not Keenan, Mike
Yeah,
Williams, yeah, and him getting hurt.
yeah. Like it's just the Chargers seem like a cursed franchise. There's always something that happens. Like even like way back, like when they played the Patriots, and like they had a pick at the end of the game that would have won it, and their dude fumbled the interception.
Yeah, and they lost
Like he
against the.
picked it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, like just stuff like that. Like how does this happen?
And against the Jets when they had the number one offense and defense, I think that year,
Mm-hmm.
and they lose to the Jets in the divisional round.
Yep. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm with you. Chiefs, I don't my unless Patrick. The only way they don't win is if Mahomes gets hurt. Then I think the Chargers would be there to step up and do that.
I would love, not because I want Pat to get hurt, because that's sort of lame. I mean, because then there would always be an asterisk if the Bills made it through.
Right.
But I do wonder what the Chiefs' offense would look like, because we've seen, and granted, it's been a drive here or there without Mahomes, and they seem to be fine. And I know you and I are both of the opinion that Andy Reid doesn't get enough credit for that machine and how well it runs and how efficient it goes. So in a way,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind seeing at least 6, 7 games without Mahomes, just to is it obviously it won't be as good without him, but does it still function? Does it still operate? And can it still win
Yeah,
games?
it would function, I think, because it'd be a lot more on script, where it wouldn't be Mahomes kind of going off script doing what he does.
Right.
So I think, and like you said, Andy Reid's like, so he's smart, like he's good enough of a coach to scheme things the right way.
True.
So he's always like whoever his quarterback has always been successful. McNabb, Cobb,
Smith.
yeah, Smith, Vic had his best years with Andy in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. And
Alex
A.
Smith, like Chiefs every year, we're right in the playoffs with Alex Smith.
Yep.
So then Mahomes just gives him that little extra that he was never able to get over the hump. He gives him that little extra. But yeah, the West is pretty, I think, pretty chalk. I could see the Broncos or Raiders being at the bottom.
Same.
I think Peyton's a better coach than I think what you said about McDaniel. That's why he's not head coach material.
Nope.
So West is pretty easy. Do you see well, at the end, we'll see if the Chargers are a playoff team in your mind as a wild card. The NFC, not the NFC, the AFC South.
I mean, to me again, this one is pretty easy to pick who wins it in the Jags,
Mm-hmm.
like all the other teams. And I think Houston is going to be last, just because they have so many rookies everywhere, and Stroud, again, him being an Ohio State guy, is already puts a mark against him, in my opinion, because they just aren't good, as we've talked many times in the show. But yeah, I think it's in my mind, Houston last and Jacksonville first, just because I think Trevor Lawrence is only going to be better. Their offense has only gotten better with Ridley back, and it takes some pressure off of Kirk now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I do think it's a sleepy division in terms of it could be entertaining. Like, I'm going to watch Anthony Richardson week 1. Like, I want to see what he does.
Same. I bet he throws a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, I agree, but like, is he like? Are you going to see steps every week out of him? Is he going to show flashes like Josh did in his rookie year, where he had some like real dud of games, but he also had those stretches where like, man, you can see what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you like remember Josh's rookie year, they didn't plan on playing him, and Peterman absolutely blew like we all knew he would.
Yeah, he did.
We get wrecked the first 2 weeks. But then Josh had that game against the Vikings where he kind of like, all right, look what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Defense played pretty good too.
they did. That's like I just want to see Richardson. Like the Texans are a young team, so I'm just want to see what they can do.
Hmm.
But they got the Jags, and I just don't believe in the Titans.
Nope, because they're one Tannehill injury away from being towards the bottom again.
Yeah, and I don't care if they got DeAndre Hopkins.
That's where
Titans
we're.
are where receivers go to die.
Yes, that. So many times.
Yeah. So the first two divisions pretty easy. Then we get into I think one of the toughest divisions to pick in terms of just like they're all pretty solid is the NFC. What do I keep on AFC North.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think that that division is as either both as tough, just in general, because the teams are all good, but also as hard to pick as ours, because yeah,
Mhm.
top to bottom. I mean, I want to say the Bengals would be number one, but Steelers looked really good. The Bengals
Mhm.
offensive line, even though they signed a bunch of guys, it's still like they just are not awesome. Burrow keeps getting these little nagging injuries to start the year. Um,
Yeah.
and so, I mean, I'm still going to go with the Bengals. They were such a good team last year. They ripped off like 10 or 11 straight wins, something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
But this is a year like the last 2 years, Cincinnati's has started really slow,
yes.
and with the AFC as it is now, they cannot do that again this year.
Mm-mm.
Like they built themselves a hole, but have been able to dig out of it to two straight AFC championships, including one Super Bowl. But you know, if they start off 1-3 this year in the AFC, that's pretty rough.
Yes. No. Agreed.
But I'm with you. I think the Bengals are the team to beat. But I would not be shocked if either the Ravens or the Steelers end up winning the division.
Mm-hmm. But
You
that being
know,
said, and so that which means that we both think that the Browns are going to finish last. But, and this is a huge but if Deshaun Watson can, recapture how great he was 2 or 3 years ago, right? Because he was out of football for
mhm,
a year. He missed the first 11 games last year. And so it took, and look, he looks rusty. But if he can return to form, I mean, they have a solid defense. Myles Garrett is awesome. Their run game is awesome.
yep,
So I mean that to me is a division, and I think maybe even more competitive than the AFC East if the Browns go and figure it out because they all have a quarterback, right? Like they all have a dude that they believe in. I know Pickett
yep.
is a second year guy, but he's looked really good. Um, but yeah.
So I looked it up quick. Through 5 weeks of the season last year, since he was 2-3.
Hmm.
Through 8 weeks, they were 4-4, and then they finished the year 12-4.
Yeah.
And if we're being honest, what happened in the playoff game against the Bills probably would have ended up being what happened in the game
Regular
against
season. Yeah.
Kansas.
Agreed.
So, but like they cannot be 4-4 halfway through this year. The AFC is far too good. Their division, like you said, is far too good.
Hmm.
And talk about interesting, like under the radar week one matchups. Cincy, Cleveland,
Yeah.
week one, and that's at Cleveland.
Hmm. And
And
yeah, if the Bengals
Joey B
lose.
hasn't played in what, like practice really in like a month.
Hmm. Yeah.
They open up again. Then they have Baltimore week two. So that's not if they're starting 0-2 division.
Could be really
And I
tough.
mean, then they have like a real cake schedule after that. They go Rams, Titans, Cardinals, 3 games in a row. So
Yeah. I mean, Rams, who knows, right? But yeah, Titans, Cardinals, those should be a couple of dubs. Cardinals especially,
yeah,
like it feels like the Cardinals are tanking before the season even starts.
yeah. If you're starting Josh Dobbs and you traded for Josh Dobbs to do so, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you that like if Watson returns to what he was in Houston, like Cleveland's right there.
Yeah, no, it'll be an interesting year to say. I mean, but again, the AFC is completely loaded because we have all the best quarterbacks.
Yeah, like I think the only one like Hurts is the only one I would be like right now in the NFC would be all right, he can stack up with the AFC.
Hmm.
Like Cousins and all of them are just like
Yeah, Cousins, Dak.
lower tiered guys. So I think we agreed so far on all of them, but the North is one that you're like you can make a case for literally all four of them
Mm-hmm.
to win the division and not seem like you're crazy.
Yep.
Say you wanted the Browns. Deshaun Watson plays like he did in Houston. That's a good reason.
Yeah.
All right, so that moves us to our division, which you mentioned is like one of the toughest in the league, top to bottom, and it truly is.
Yeah.
Do I think the Bills win it as easily as I don't know if easily, but a fourth time in a row, it's going to be the hardest journey yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Tua stays healthy for a full year, they already beat the Bills with Tua, then almost beat us twice without him.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets, if Rodgers continues, like if he picks up from 2 years ago, but the Bills win it. Bills win it overall. We have the best depth. We have the best overall roster, I think. And everyone's sleeping on us, so there's not much pressure like there was last year.
No. Yeah, but sort of as you said, I think you can make a case for those three teams. I mean, I think sort of universally the Pats, I would dare say, are going to be last. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, right? Like we've won three in a row. It's not going to be as easy. We're going to have to win 13, 14 games to actually do it. I think, anyways. And yeah, you can make a case for which the Jets were a quarterback away from being a championship caliber team. If Tua stays healthy last year, the Dolphins likely play. Or I mean, shoot, who knows? They probably would would have beaten us in the wild card round. I mean, their offense is awesome. Their defense just got better with Jalen Ramsey. Granted, he's going to miss the first 4 to 8 weeks of the season, but yeah, I mean, again, I won't pick against the Bills. I won't pick against Josh, but that week one matchup will definitely be will set the tone, anyways, because we play the Jets and then a couple weeks later we play the Dolphins, right?
Yeah, week 4 we play Miami. So yeah, like it's a trendsetter. The Jets last year, like defense gave everyone fits, including us. And I think that's kind of like where Stefan's frustration came from was like, why are we struggling against these teams? Like change, like do something to spice it up.
Yeah.
So I think like not people not knowing what Kincaid is going to do with 2 tight end sets. We were like one of the lowest people in the league in terms of our 12 personnel usage last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's going to be flipped. And I think you and I talked about that before, like on a show here, where the plan last year was to go 2 tight end. We signed OJ Howard, thinking, okay, we're gonna go Knox, OJ Howard, and then Howard showed that he's trash now. So we beat Grand the Bills, Patriots at the bottom. Now we have to figure out who are the 3 wild cards. So we have Bills, Bengals, Jags, and Chiefs as their division winners.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be your 3 wild cards?
Dang. And this is where honestly it does get really, really tough. I think Miami, LA, and Pittsburgh.
So one from everywhere but the South. And I think Chargers are going to benefit from they're going to have 4 games against the Raiders and Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to hurt the other divisions from getting more than one wild card is, like we just said, top to bottom, there's no gimme games in the division.
Right.
You could go 3-3 where the Chargers get 4 easy wins. Well, not easy, but like easier wins against the Broncos and Raiders.
Yeah, and maybe they split with Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, because they play Kansas City well, like every single time they play.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you had the Chargers, the Dolphins, and the
Steelers.
Yeah, I really wouldn't argue that. You could easily say the Jets over the Dolphins or whatever, but
The Ravens over the Steelers. But
I think it's gonna they're gonna beat each other up in the divisions. And it's gonna cost them. Yeah, I can agree with that. AFC Championship game. Who you got going there, and who's winning the AFC Championship?
See, and like this is where the fandom always gets in the way, right? Like,
Not a
because
sticks and skins. We play it real.
I play it real. Because, well, yeah, I mean, do I believe that like we can get there? Yeah, and but do I believe that we'd likely play Kansas City? Yeah, right. Like they've had
Is it going to be
five
in Kansas
straight,
City? Probably.
five
Yeah.
straight. I mean, like five straight at home, haven't they?
Yeah. It's
It's
every
insane.
every year
Like,
he started has been at home in the championship.
yeah. So I mean, but yeah, Kansas City at Buffalo.
Oh, so you're saying Kansas City at Buffalo?
Yeah, because even though
Yeah,
I
that's home
mean,
field.
we play them tough in the regular season, right? They'll have to play Cincinnati in the regular season. They'll have to play the Chargers
Yeah.
twice. They'll have to play the Dolphins. They'll have to play the Jets, right?
Yep. I mean,
Yeah,
we pretty much had the same schedule.
yeah. And so it's just like,
So who
okay,
wins then? Is our home field enough for us to beat them?
I think home field and the weather, right? Like that's, it gets cold in Kansas City, sure, but not like Buffalo.
So you have us
And
going to the Super Bowl, the Bills.
I have us going to the Super Bowl, yes.
Okay. So you have Chiefs and Bills. It all to me depends on the seeding.
Right.
Like who plays? Is it going to be Chiefs Bengals in the division? Is it going to be Chiefs Bills in the division? Like that's who's going to determine like which one of the three is left out.
Hmm.
Is who plays each other in the divisional round. Us getting the one seed, I think, would eliminate us from playing the Chiefs. But in all honesty, I'd rather play them in the divisional round than I would Cincinnati again.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
and I
having
do not
Von
think it's going
Miller,
to be yeah. Hopefully he's healthy.
I would say having Von Miller would make a difference.
I don't think it would have mattered last year. I think we're just out of gas. But I don't think it's going to be a three-peat of the AFC Championship of Bengals Chiefs.
Not me either.
I'm going to go Bills and Chiefs at Kansas City.
You would.
I would. And Chiefs beat us in Kansas City. So Chiefs in the Super Bowl for me.
Well, guess the only one of us has a PhD then, huh?
Mm.
Which means
All right,
nothing.
yeah. So we have that on the AFC. The NFC. We can start from the East to West this time. NFC East for me. I think Philadelphia is easily the team to beat in that division.
Hmm.
I think Washington is the worst team in the division, just because I don't trust Sam Howell. I don't really know what he is.
Nope. I don't think they know.
No, and Rivera is on a very hot seat with new ownership, and even the time he quote unquote won the division, it was under 500, so he's not really had great success there.
See, to me, Rivera is Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, that's a good
I
comparison.
mean, I just think I don't like they ran on early success. Like his trip to the Super Bowl with the Panthers, and he's been running
Hmm.
on that ever since.
Yeah, they have.
His teams have underachieved big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
But no, I agree with that completely because, as I mean, and again, for all the reasons you just said, one Philly, I think is one of the most, especially on defense. I mean, on both sides of the ball, they are deep.
Deep.
They are
Okay.
so deep from receiver, running back, tight end. Their D line is so many first round. I mean, yeah, they have a lot there. And then, I mean, I one could make a case for the Giants being last just because I do not believe in Daniel Jones at all. But I believe in Sam Howell less. So yeah, Washington for last place.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be surprising to see the Giants do like a step back like Buffalo did in their second year with McDermott.
Hmm.
The Giants kind of shocked everybody going to the playoffs. They did win a game, but against I think everyone like an extremely overrated Vikings team.
Yep.
So I think they're due for a setback. Like everyone's expecting Daniel Jones to take this huge leap. He didn't have really great stats last year.
Nope.
Saquon, it was his first healthy year in a long time. Can he continue to be healthy this year?
Yep.
So yeah. So we were in agreement there.
Although that being said, I think if the Giants start to struggle, as long as Saquon stays healthy, I can see him getting traded.
Yeah, well they have control of it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody has a running back injury who's like a playoff contender and like, all right, let's get him. So
Us.
I think Hook is gonna be like just smoking this year.
Same. I'm really excited for him. He's probably outside of Josh. I think he's gonna just be an absolute killer as long as he stays healthy.
Because like watching Singletary for years, like Singletary was really good at making people miss, but he also didn't have any like breakaway capability.
Yeah.
So how many of those runs is Cook gonna be able to get 5-6 more yards out just because of his explosiveness?
Or he takes it to the house.
Yeah, and those things add up over the course of a game.
Yep.
So we might be a little bit more okay running the ball because that potential is there
And maybe play action will work a little bit better now.
in a screen game.
Dude, the first time we go and we get a first down or like more than 5 yards in a screen would be if he, I mean, shoot, imagine Josh like, oh, thank God I can throw like a 3 yard pass and get a touchdown out of it.
It's been like what since C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson.
I was gonna say
Chad
that.
Gailey. That was the last time we could run screens.
Oh my gosh, that feels like a lifetime ago.
It was. All right, but we digress. We always dive back into the Bills. NFC North.
Sorry, you go ahead because I went first on the AFC.
Yeah, so NFC North to me, I don't think Green Bay is going to be as bad as everyone thinks with Rodgers gone.
Me either.
He wasn't that great last year to begin with.
If they're smart, they lean more on the running game. Like I don't understand why they didn't last year
With the two running backs that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're going to the division. I think it's Detroit. Like their defense from the second half of last year forward, like such great improvement. They have added to the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff is showing like, hey, don't forget about me. Stafford won a Super Bowl, but look at them now. The Vikings, I think, are going to fall back down to reality this year from their 13 win or 14 win last year. I don't remember which they had.
Too many. One too many at least.
Yeah, one too many. Yeah. Bills related again.
Yeah.
So Bears are going to be the worst.
Oh my gosh, easily.
Easy to,
yeah.
Bears are the worst, and Lions winning it. Although I do hope Edmonds has a great year for the Bears. I like Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah, no, I wish we could have kept him, but no, I'm with you. Lions, I thought was the best team overall to not make the playoffs. I mean, they were way better in Seattle. I would have much rather have seen them over the Seahawks. And then the Bears. I think this is Justin Fields probably last year in Chicago. Even that one preseason game that he looked good, it was like he threw the ball collectively like 15 yards downfield, but ended up with 130 yards and two touchdowns. Right. So unless the guys around him make all the plays, he can't. Like he's a runner. He's a less good Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Although he talked about the spring game. Look what I can do. Yeah. Pretty easy there. So I don't like they were in agreement on almost everything so far. Although I picked the Chiefs.
Except for the most important one.
All right, NFC South. Again, I think fairly easy division to pick. The best quarterback, I think, is easily Carr.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints have had a really good defense, just has not had anything to partner with on offense. You have a lot of it coming back. They say Michael Thomas is going to be back and on, but
who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Over the last few years with him,
seriously, the guy's been thieving money from the Saints.
Nothing. So I got Olave. If he's healthy, that's fantastic for them.
Jimmy Graham,
Yeah, Jimmy Graham's back and
Kamara.
like as a yeah. So I mean, the defense is still the defense.
Yeah, they're good.
I don't trust Bryce Young, the
Nope.
Panthers.
He doesn't have anybody.
No, yeah, there's nobody. You tell me Adam Thielen's gonna be his guy?
They said he was really liking Mingo, but yeah, no, I mean he doesn't. I mean, talk about a guy that could use Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore, right?
Right, for sure. So yeah, I think who I think is gonna be the worst one in that division. I think it's gonna be the Panthers, just because of the rookie quarterback growing pains, and then the Saints win the division.
Yeah, I like the Saints for sure. Falcons, yeah. Bucks, I don't know. I mean, I guess all depending on because Baker's still. I mean, he showed flashes before, and I think this is the best offense he's ever had in terms of having Godwin and Evans and Brait. He's not a bad tight end. Although didn't their center just get out for the season?
Yeah, they lost some offensive linemen again.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it'll be. I do think it'll be the Saints, but you know, the Bucks might be a game or two right behind him. But yeah, I'm with you. The Panthers, just because of a rookie quarterback and not having just much of anything on offense, I think they're assuming Bryce is, you know, worthy of a number one overall pick. I still think they're a couple of years away from actually being able to compete.
And then the NFC West. Seattle greatly overachieved last year, I think.
Yep.
And you started to see toward the end of last year Geno going back to why he hadn't started for a while. So it'll be interesting to see how he picks up this year. They kept Drew Lock there, but the Niners have easily the best roster in that division.
Yep.
They have Brock Purdy, who I don't know if he's all that great because he has a great roster around him.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam Darnold as a number 2 is Purdy, so I'd take him for the Bills.
100%.
So the Niners, easy pick for me, and we already kind of mentioned this at the start of the show. Well, not start of the show, when we talked about the schedule for the Bengals. The Cardinals I think they will be the worst team in the league. So
Same.
they'll be at the bottom of that division.
Yep, and fortunately for them, Houston will also, I think, be towards the bottom as well. So they could I mean, you and I talked about this, right? Like they could very well, because I forget who I was listening to on TikTok or something, but they were talking about how they doubt that Kyler Murray would even start just due to the fact at all, because if he gets hurt, like they're on the hook for like 90 something million guaranteed, but if you know he doesn't get hurt or whatever, it's only like 30. And so I could easily see them, you know, trading away Kyler to a team that's everything but a quarterback away, and you know, being able to get a third or second round pick. You know, they'll likely have the number one. I don't know. They can essentially retool with Caleb Williams, get Marvin Harrison Jr., and sort of start fresh. That being said, I also think that the coach they currently have is just he's a 1 year deal, whether he knows it or not. He only got hired because nobody else wanted to work with Kyler Murray. Because let's be frank, with Hopkins and Murray, like you know, their defense is solid. Oh, Buda Baker, he's somebody else who wants out, so they could probably flip him for first or second. But yeah, I think the Cardinals are sellers right now.
Yep.
Tough time to be a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, it is rough thinking that, we got our quarterback, and then, no, we really don't. So, yeah, so we got our division winners. We agreed on the Niners. We agreed on, everybody, the Eagles, the
Lions.
Saints, and the Lions. So now we have to pick our wild cards. You went first last time. I don't think anybody from the South will be a wild card.
Nope.
Cowboys will be a wild card.
Yep, I agree.
I don't know. I guess I could. The Packers are going to be a wild card.
Same. I think the same.
Conference.
It's number 7. That's the hardest.
Where's the third one coming from? not
I
going to
th-
be the
I
Cardinals.
think it's between two teams,
Who?
Seahawks and
Seattle and the
Vikings.
yeah. I don't think the Vikings are going to be terrible either. They're just not going to be the record they were last year.
Nah, they're to me they're the seventh, or like they're one of the wild card teams. I don't think Seattle has enough. And as you said about Geno, I just there's a reason why he's been a journeyman. Like Kirk is at least a
Yeah.
solid above average quarterback, and Justin Jefferson, their defense is not not terrible. Um,
Yeah. And they drafted Addison in the draft to play alongside him.
yes, yes. Granted, they don't have Cook anymore, but they still
They
have
just
Hawkinson and
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I agree with the 7 for them. The NFC Championship, Eagles 49ers, I think, will be there.
Eagles Lions.
You think Eagles Lions, right? And then I think I would have Philadelphia going again to the Super Bowl. So it would be a Super Bowl rematch for me. Eagles, Chiefs,
Yeah, Lions Bills.
Lions. So
Someone
one
who's
fan
never won
base
a
that's
title.
I say yeah, somebody fan base is gonna be super happy.
Lions. I don't
So
know,
yeah,
man. I
just
just God, the Lions really impressed me. Like at the end of last year, like especially that game against the Packers to go and just at Lambeau whoop that ass and keep Green Bay out of the playoffs. I don't know. I just that was a yeah. I don't know. I'm Lions are my for this year anyways my second favorite team. I'm really hoping. I'm really pulling for that fan base.
so what if they get absolutely wrecked Thursday night? Are you gonna change that?
No, because they're playing Kansas City at Kansas City, and I'm sure too, right, that the Lions are also like feeling themselves and whatnot. All right, if they continue to get
Yeah,
wrecked, all right, sure, maybe I look like the I mean, we both picked them to win the division, but as it stands
yeah.
right now, Lions, Bills, Super Bowl.
All right, so who's winning?
You already know, baby. 17 of the blue and red.
All right, so you have a Bills Super Bowl, uh, with the Bills beating the Lions, who've never been to a
Oh,
Super Bowl.
this guy
So
right here, him. There he is. Can't hardly see him. It doesn't matter. It's Josh Allen, rookie card. He sits right in front of my computer. So whenever I'm working, I see him. I'm like, you know what? This guy, he's grinding. I better keep grinding too.
I think I have the Chiefs Eagles. I think the Eagles will get revenge this year. I mean, they easily could have won last year,
Yes, if it's a rematch, I agree. I think Philly takes it.
and I think the Bills would beat the Lions.
Yeah, same.
All right, so those are our predictions for the season. We have some awards.
Hmm.
Let's start with the big one. So, based on what you were saying, I'd imagine to be a Bill or a Lion would be your MVP.
I just again another year under Dorsey now actually having a run game. I think Kincaid's going to make a bigger impact than a lot of people think. 12 personnel, being able to use him as a blocker, as a pass catcher, that which takes pressure off of Josh. He just. I watched this video today where everyone sort of on the Bills said like this is the most dialed in that they've seen him. Like he, barring injury, I think Allen just that this is just a career year for him in terms of being on Madden and dating that movie star. And so again, call me a homer, call me whatever. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm certainly too close to the Bills, but I am as all in on Buffalo as I have ever been. Josh Allen, my 2023-24 MVP.
So, Josh Allen, MVP. Uh, I would have Hurts winning it this year. Um, he easily could have won it last year if he didn't get hurt for those 3 games. He probably
Agreed.
would have won it last year.
Yeah, no, he's really good.
But the MVP to me is always like a little tricky because it seems like they vote for the best story sometimes. You
Definitely
know,
that. Yes.
so like Josh having a bounce back year could be a great story. And I say bounce back in terms of like if he cuts the turnovers down
Hmm.
from last year.
Fumbles
But
is
yeah,
what really gets him.
yes, but I could also see like a dark horse. Dark horse, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, some dark
Yeah.
horse
Yeah.
people.
Lawrence, I can see. You know, Burrow, right? Herbert.
Um,
Um, I don't think Lamar. I think Lamar got it just because it was, you know, a good story and he was running a ton
yes, he
and
was a story.
yeah.
If you look at Josh's best year, the year he finished second to Rodgers,
Mhm.
and Lamar's MVP year, like Josh surpassed him pretty much, other than rushing yards in every way. Just Lamar, like you said, Lamar was a great story.
Yeah.
And can he stay healthy, Lamar? That's his biggest thing. 2 straight years of
And you know he's only played the Steelers 3 times in 5 years.
What?
Yeah. So out of 10, like I've heard that stat on Sirius on moving the chains a couple times, like where Ravens fans are calling and saying the Lamar's going to beat the Steelers, like, and they're always like, "Do you know how many times he's played them?" They're like, "Oh," and then like he's 1-2 against them. He's only played 3 out of 10 possible matchups.
That's insane. I mean, but again, like it's just he's not
He's hurt.
durable. Yeah.
Like
And I
everyone
can.
talks about Josh getting hurt, but he's missed one, like his
Rookie
rookie.
year, he missed a couple.
Yeah, because he got sandwiched between TJ or not
Yeah.
TJ Watt and Merciless or Mercil. Yeah. Anyways, he got
Even and then even last year when he wrecked his elbow, he still played through that.
and even that too, right? That's something nobody talks about. How I won't digress into the Bills, but how terrible his line is, not having a run game, and his elbow. Like you cannot, like it was his throwing arm.
Romo said it a lot.
Yeah, but like nobody else is just like, oh, Al's turning over. Oh, he's played worse. Yeah, he played worse after he hurt his flipping throwing elbow.
Yeah, and it was essentially Diggs and nobody else last year.
Yeah,
Gabe was either catching bombs or doing nothing.
or dropping them.
Yeah, it was so bad last year they brought back John Brown and Cole Beasley.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I think we have better weapons. Sherfield
Sherfield,
and Hardy are
yeah, I'm
Hardy's
excited for
better
those
than
guys.
McKenzie.
Yep.
Sherfield, I is waiting for Gabe to start dropping passes. I think so he can go in and show what he can do.
Hmm.
Shakir has flashes, like he makes amazing catches, then
We'll
drops
drop.
the easiest thing in the world.
Yep.
So Josh has
Kincaid.
more weapons than he ever has.
Hmm.
And Dawson last
Keeps getting
year
better.
lost his brother.
Yeah.
So he started off really understandably very slow. So yeah, so MVP, we each had a different one. Offensive rookie of the year, to me, I think is going to be Bijan Robinson. Like I think just what the Falcons have had good running games, but now they have somebody who's like a next level generational running back by all accounts.
Hmm.
If he stays healthy and they just keep the same style of offense, I think he's just ready to just burst onto the scene.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely yes. I would put him at number two outside of that receiver that the Chiefs drafted, Rice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, if I had to pick somebody, I mean, I, my gut
No,
says
I was half expecting you to pick Kincaid
Kincaid. No, no,
to win
I
Offensive
mean,
Rookie of the Year.
I mean, in all honesty, yeah, sure. I mean, Kincaid, but and just because, and if he does, it'll just because he'll be that um, a red zone threat, and he'll have eight,
Mm,
10 touchdowns. But no, I mean, I think Rice for the Chiefs because between him, Sky Moore, and Kelsey, I mean, the Chiefs aren't going to slow down their passing attack.
yeah. So we got that. We got Defensive Rookie of the Year. Um, I don't know that one's a little bit tougher to me.
Same.
I could see Campbell from the Lions winning if they're successful, and then like based on what he's from what I've read in the preseason, just like he's all over the place.
Hmm.
And he like linebacker's a stat position. If he's out on the field all the time, he's gonna have tackles, passes deflected, and everything. So he'll have the stats to win it.
Yeah.
So to me, I think that'd be if the Lions are what they think, what we think they're gonna be. I think he could win the Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yep. No, I mean, I can definitely see that too. I'll go with Will Anderson. The stuff that I've seen is that he's just been a monster um, for the Texans. But the only reason why I might give the edge to, well, I guess see either way. I think Anderson's going to have to be on the field a lot more, so have more opportunities for sacks and picks and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those splash plays. But I think Campbell having a better front four in front of him, just better teammates around him, so he,
Yeah.
yeah. But I guess I'll go with Will Anderson.
All right. Then comeback player of the year, I think, is open and shut. Like as soon as Hamlin steps on the field, I think he'll hands down win comeback player of the year.
Yeah, which in a way is kind of lame, right?
It
Like
is.
Alex
I
Smith won it and he didn't do.
Yeah. It's a story.
Yes,
It's a story. I think if Tua has a healthy season, he could win it. Going
yes.
back off what he
That's
had.
that's who. I mean, again, barring them just giving it to Hamlin, that would be who I'd pick if Tua could put together an entire season where he stays healthy and the Dolphins make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean, if you want to go health wise, you have John Mechie of the Texans who overcame
cancer.
leukemia.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I forget
He was
about Mechie.
he was supposed to be a beast. So if he produces, like, that's a great story. Calvin Austin for the Steelers, like a very like sleeperish, gadgety type guy.
Ridley.
Who, yeah, Ridley. He came back from his own stupidity. But yeah, like if you're just going based on stats and what we just like you said about him earlier, if we're going just the best impact, it'd be hard to argue what he's going to do for
I
that
know, right? I
offense.
mean, he's looked really good. Yeah, I know there's a lot of guys, but no, I'm with you. I think Hamlin just because like he died and then didn't die, and then now he's back in the 53-man roster.
Yeah. So yeah, easily there. And then a coach of the year. I think for you, let me just see if I can get this like. I think it would have to be Campbell over McDermott
If they make the Super Bowl, yes,
because the Bills are expected to do it. The Lions are on the verge, and that'd be a better story because like the Bills have been on the doorstep for
yes,
3 years.
agreed. No, I mean, yes, that would be my pick.
And even though I had the Eagles and Chiefs, neither one of those coaches will win it. Like, I think for me, it'd also be like I had them winning the division, Dan Campbell.
Hmm.
Now, if the Jaguars go and make the AFC champion, like even though like they win the division, like say they win 12, 13 games,
Yep, Peterson.
Peterson might get it. And if T-Law's in the MVP conversation against Story, the best coach in the league is Andy Reid.
Yeah, hands down.
But like he's not like everyone knows who he is. He's not going to win it. So those are our predictions for the year. We have one show before the start of the year. We'll probably look at that Thursday night game then, and then we'll start like as the season starts. Corey and I do DraftKings fantasy weekly. We're going to start doing just a little bit of like maybe some sleeper guys you might get for DraftKings, and at least Bill's predictions every week. We'll see what we do in terms of weekly predictions.
We're predicting everybody, okay, because we are the gurus. All right, Gil Brandt, rest in peace. He was that dude, but he passed it on to us. Here we are.
He sure did. But before we go, as we mentioned a couple times, we had our first break last weekend, very successful. Corey is ready to break. He's ready and ripping and rearing to go. And he has a preview of what he's going to be breaking for you tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I have it up right now. I don't know if it is showing. It is not. Hold on. TikTok shop done. Here we go. I think.
Yep, I can see it on there.
Do you see you?
Well, I'm covering a lot of it.
There we go. All right. Um,
You're gonna rip me, is what it is. Now I'm center. There we go.
but yes, you know what? You're gone.
That
Um,
chin right
yeah, sweet chin music. But
there.
yeah, so this is going to be our break. We have, I think, a lot of really nice cards. I mean, again, we both think that we have a great deal here, but two boxes of 22 score, two boxes of 22 chronicles, both blasters, and then six megas. Um, two megas of select 23 draft picks, two megas of 22 chronicles, and then what I think what most people are likely buying in for, two megas of 21 select optics with the opportunity to get a T-Law rookie, the downtowns. So what? Honestly, that's the one that I'm most excited to open because granted, yeah, sure, would I like to keep it for myself and open it and get a downtown or something like that? Yeah, but I don't know about you. When I do this, I get equally as excited to go and just pull something big in general. That even though maybe I
Yeah.
don't necessarily get it obviously, but somebody else will. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, and if we're being business honest, it's good for us to pull those types of things, just because we can like promote and be like, hey, look what we got from our break.
Yep.
Come see us.
Yeah. So no,
And like
I'm.
people will sleep on that 23 score like we did last week.
Mm-hmm.
That 23 score gave us what, three numbered cards and an auto
Yeah.
out of two blasters.
Yep.
So like don't sleep on the score. Yeah, you get a lot of base, but you also have the rookies and those chances at those hits for a pretty decent price.
Yep. And then next week, let me grab this here. Next week, I mean, we'll have a bunch of stuff, but in addition to what we typically have, I have two boxes of it's a bit light, 2018 score that I picked up. Again, it's score, but as you just said, I mean, this says, you know, he'll have a memorabilia and or auto. This is Josh's rookie year, Lamar's rookie year. So yeah, and I have two of these, so that would be really neat to pull something like that as well.
Yeah, and then going into breaks, like you're always chasing those big hits. And when you talk about value, you get 35 bucks to get a chance and get the uh, Dr. Flex over there. You have a chance to get those really expensive teams in most breaks for 35 bucks.
Yeah,
And the best part of multiple years, like we always provide, is it allows more teams to have chances to get bigger hits than maybe if it's all just 2022.
yeah, right. Because I mean, I think we've talked before. Like right now, like teams like the Seahawks, there's just not a lot of good players, rookies and whatnot that you're going to pull. Make sure they have Metcalf and Walker, right?
Mm,
He was decent, but running backs they're so transient and
yeah.
but no, like doing multiple years, right? It just yes, doing it for that exact reason.
So yeah, great value.
Great value.
We will
We're
be
the
going.
Walmart.
Yeah, no, sorry, trademark there, Walmart.
Yeah.
We'll be going live at roughly 9:30 ish Eastern.
Yeah.
We already have four spots sold, so sweet.
Yeah.
Uh,
Walking in with 23 to fill, so hopefully, yeah, I'm excited. I
how
am.
many to fill?
28.
There we go, Dr. Math. That's why I was like, hold on a second. Did more sell while we were on the show? People love it.
Uh,
And it'll be fun tomorrow. Uh, we had great audience interaction last week. Even if you don't want to buy, come hang out, talk sports with us, check out
yeah.
some neat cards.
Yeah. I'll be selling. Lawrence will be in the chat, banning people as need be.
Dropping that hammer.
I mean, I did it twice last
Yeah,
week.
probably a good feeling. Like we love reporting people on Rocket League and
Oh
get
my
those,
gosh,
but
seriously.
now we're the ones handing out the judgment. We don't have to
Man,
report it and wait. This might just throw
nobody's.
the hammer on a tuned mine or something just to get the practice down.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I'll throw the hammer on her later. You know what I mean?
Oh, that was innuendo, so it is still PG. Take that as you will. Thank you for joining us. We'll have a break tomorrow morning. For Corey Duncan, I am Lawrence Foster. Go Bills.
Go Bills. That's right. Super Bowl champs. You know it. All right. Goodbye.